Welcome back to Business Morning. Today we're talking currencies. Joining me now is Esther Oyana. She's a currencies analyst from Forex Time, and she's here to tell us how you can choose a good broker to help you trade, of course, for maximum returns at the currencies market. Good morning, Esther. Thank you so much for being on the program. Now, what a first quarter it was in the first quarter of this year, talking about financial markets and the currencies markets. Now, before we go into choosing how one can choose a good broker to trade for one at the currencies market, let's take a look at the performance of currencies in the first quarter, particularly the Euro USD pair.
Okay. For the Euro, it was really, for the first quarter, they had a good buy trend. It was a good for those who were in the buy trade for the long term for the quarter. There was a strong buy. Starting from January till as at last one, there was a good buy. And the great push up for Euro was for the funds, the more funds that were pumped in, 500 billion euros that was added to the already 300 euro. That was what gave a boost for the Eurozone. So for the Euro, it was so good. But for the dollar, there were mixed numbers on the dollars. Though they had a good index, but traders' sentiment were just to the Euro. Trader sentiment was solely for the Euro.
Why would it be for the Euro? We know all that happened in the first quarter. No, of course, good things. The outlook became brighter for the Euro until the end of the first quarter. But I would say for most of the first quarter, the Euro took a very big hit. Despite that, it's just remained so resilient.
Yeah. When you're talking about trading, you're having so many traders involved and so many market makers involved. You have so many participants in the market. So usually it's always the general outlook people look for, the yields they'll get now. So they may not look at the future, but for the now. Because if you look at it in the last year, doing the long-term trading wasn't so beneficial for so many traders because it didn't really bring up the expectations they want. So right now, people are just on the short-term basis. What is going to give to them now? They may look at it on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, but on the long-term, they may not. So it favored the Euro better because if you look at the Euro-USD charts, from January till now, there was a strong movement.
Okay, now, let me ask you for Forex Time, either your PAM account or trading generally in terms of returns in the first quarter. Maybe I should pick the currencies by the Euro USD. In terms of returns, was it good? Very good? Excellent?
Yeah, for traders who did well, let's use that word, well, because it's all about you understanding the market, using the various shocks observers, let me use that word, in the market. Particularly for February, it wasn't so great because everyone was still having the outlook that Euro is going to fall. I'm trying to remember what period in February. So many people were trading against the Euro. Funny enough, the Euro took another turn up. And I can remember that so many people were knocked out, including me, let me put it that way.
Including yourself?
Yeah, just a little because I had my stop loss level there. So, and Euro really surprised so many traders because we were expecting Euro to fall, but it was the other way around.
Interesting, but overall, did you still make some reasonable gains? As
for the quarter, it made a reasonable good gain. It was more of gains than loss.
And those who are using the Forex Time PAM accounts, those who have fund managers trading for them, would you say they had a good run?
They had a good run first quarter, but February wasn't so clear for some. But March made up for the losses in February.
Now, comparing the first quarter of this year in terms of returns and the previous quarter, was it gains more or returns? Was it more or better than the previous quarter?
Previous quarter had a better, but the margin of difference is just slight.
So overall, was a good quarter.
It was a good quarter
for Forex Time and those who are trading. Okay, good to know. Now let's start off with how to choose a good currencies broker. Now, what makes a good? How does one choose a good currencies broker, and what makes a good currencies broker?
It starts first with you as a trader. Okay, you must first of all know what do you want in the currency market. What are you looking at? Okay, I'm coming to trade. It's just like shopping for a house, shopping for a car. You're going to weigh the pros and the cons. So you start to say, what do I want? Okay. But first of all, understand there are different types of broker. Let's try to put the two types of broker in the market. We have the dealing desk broker and we have the non-dealing desk broker. So you must weigh the variables between the two brokers. What does dealing desk do? What do they stand for? How do I gain from a dealing desk? Then for those who are non-dealing desk, what do I gain from them also as a non-dealing desk?
So who's a dealing desk? Let's break it down. The dealing desk broker and the non-dealing desk, and how one can profit from either of the two.
Okay, if we go to our chart of dealing desk broker, a dealing desk broker is also known as a market maker. A dealing desk broker is also known as a market maker. How are the market makers? They create an artificial foreign exchange rates for the traders. Okay, due to the stiff competition now, so most dealing desk brokers rates are also close to the interbank market rate. So another thing,
sorry to bother, interbank, is it interbank here in Nigeria or interbank?
No.
International, okay.
International interbank.
Just to be sure.
Okay, no,
go
not
on.
Nigeria.
Go on.
So on the dealing desk broker, this is how they operate. They have a fixed spread, okay? Because that's where they make their gain from the spread, and also they create that artificial platform. They usually trade, okay, against the trader. What do I mean? For example, I have a dealing desk. For the dealing desk, we have the trader there. He places his order, a buy or sell, and it goes to the broker. The broker can pick the order. Okay, if it's an order that matches, for example, I place a buy on Euro USD and it's on 100,000 units, that's a standard lot. The broker picks up that trade. If he sees another client and the same rate on a buy order, I'm on the sell, he's on the buy order, they match it with that client. If they don't see, they take it straight to a liquidity provider to execute that trade. At times, if they have enough liquidity within themselves, they trade it. Okay, usually dealing desk brokers don't have anything against traders. That's what people really always confuse. Trading against you doesn't mean you have to lose. No, they're just trying to cover up for the losses you're making. Okay, from their own end. So dealing desk broker, that is how they operate. So usually they are not, they are indifferent to your position, either a buy or a sell. They are indifferent to your position.
What about in terms of risk? What's the risk level dealing with a dealing desk broker?
The risks, there are no risks involved, because for dealing desks, because we're still coming to that, what makes a good broker?
Okay.
What will sustain a good dealing desk broker is someone who has lots of integrity. We're going to come to what makes up a good broker, it's characteristics of a broker.
Okay, let's talk about the non-dealing desk.
For the non-dealing desks, we know them as the non-dealing desks. They are of two types. We have the ECN and the STP. The ECN are known as Electronic Communication Network, okay, or the STP is straight through processing. When you're dealing with an STP broker, an STP broker has different liquidity providers, e.g. like banks, okay? So they have different buy and sell order from the different liquidity provider, and they usually pick up the best buy and the best sell price for any trader placing his trade. So if you look at the chart for a non-dealing desk, you have the trader picking up a trade, passing through. The non-dealing desk doesn't create theirs. They take their rates from the bank. So he picks, they will have like 3 different liquidity providers. They are different buy and sell order. So the broker will now choose a best buy and a best sell order for you and execute it. That's as for STP, straight to processing. While we have the electronic communication network kind of brokers, those ones take your order and now give it to you, as in take you to the market. You have different people there. You have the banks. If you look at it there, you have the banks, you have the hedge fund managers, you have mutual funds, you have other brokers, you have other clients, all trading through the ECN. And most ECN brokers expose you to the market depth. Okay, for you to make your choice from, okay, I prefer this broker, or I prefer this client's buy order, I prefer this person's sell order. It's your choice with all your different brokers.
Okay, so how does one now select a broker at the end of the day?
Okay, for the NDD, the ECN. For the NDD, the non-dealing desk, there is no issue of, when you're talking about requotes, when you pick a buy order, immediately it picks it up. Because it's going to the straight to processing network or electronic communication network. They're taking it straight at the market rate. Usually when you're going through a dealing desk broker, you may have something known as a requote. Requote means asking you again if you want to buy and sell at that order, because they couldn't see another matching order to your position.
Well, interesting, but it all sounds very. I wanted to just break it down.
Break it down.
Very basic.
Simple. Okay.
Okay. So I'm a trader, and I'm looking for a good broker wherever I can find him. I go to the internet, or do I need to approach the currencies trader like Forex Time?
Yeah, you can ask your question. Usually clients will have them. They're all confused. Okay, for a beginner, he comes in and he wants to place a trade. He said, okay, I want to trade. Each broker have their own what should I use, their own terms and conditions and different types of instruments they give to you. So if you're looking for a broker, the first thing you like to know, okay, who is a broker? He acts as a middleman between you and the currency market. Okay, what does he provide for me? Okay, because usually beginners, you just tell them, take your time, go through this research. Okay, I have a broker, he trades for people. Usually people go to forums and reviews to read more about traders, to know, okay, brokers, what constitutes a good broker, what constitutes a bad broker. So by the time they get all this information, they come back now. Okay, you're a broker. We know about deal index. I don't like the deal index. Deal index means buy and sell order, and the rates there are based on the market maker, which is a broker. Okay, if you're going to the broker, they have their spread for you. Okay, and if you want to trade on the deal index with the broker, that's within the broker's liquidity, buy and sell may always have a requote, especially during news. Meaning, I may buy, click a buy, and the buy will ask again, do I need to buy again at this price because the price has changed?
Okay.
If I click a sell, the same thing. Those are usually the quotes. And for most scalpers, that's those who come in and go out within a certain
5 minutes.
Yeah, they may not find that funny. Okay. Then for the non-deal index, you must have this at the back of your mind. All non-deal index asks you for, apart from the spread, variable spread, because the spread now for the non-deal index goes to the liquidity provider, not the broker. Okay, what the broker gets is a commission fee. So now you like to weigh the commission fees. Commission fee varies across brokers, so you like to choose the best.
But I imagine that the uppermost concern on the mind of a potential trader or someone who wants to get a good broker is how much can this broker make for me at the currencies market? Because at the end of the day, it's just how much in terms of returns will come to the person.
It's not about the broker, it's about the trader.
Okay.
Because at the bottom line of all choosing a good broker, a bad broker, or knowing which type of broker, it all boils and starts and ends with you as a trader. Okay. Because if I'm picking a broker, okay, I want to pick a house. Am I going for a self-contained? I'm going for a 3-bedroom. If I'm a family person, you won't think of going for just a mini flat, right? So same thing with a broker. Okay, I'm a trader. What type of trader am I? Am I the scalper? That's the person that just comes in and goes out. Or the person who trades the swing trader or the long-term trader. That will give you an informed decision of which type of broker I'm going for.
Okay, so are you saying that in terms of directly impacting on what the trader would make at the end of the broker doesn't have any power over that, or
no,
it doesn't
have any power over what you make and how you
lose. So it's not even about, okay, I may have hadn't had that confused there, so
it's
I thought
about
that
how you make your profits, your returns on investment, your returns on your trades you make, your losing or your winning trades has nothing to do with you, has everything to do with you.
Okay, so how does the broker himself or herself now directly impact on trading for the trader?
Okay, it starts with one. You must know if that broker there's security on the broker. I must know what type of broker I'm going in for. Okay, I won't definitely drop in a large fund with a broker and at the end of the day I'm hearing another story about the broker. There must be security for your funds. Very important, security for your funds. Okay, brokers should have what should I? We should have.
You mentioned integrity earlier on.
Yeah, that matters very well. Usually, there's always forums and reviews, but though I don't really rely on them on telling you what kind of broker is good, which kind of broker is bad. Usually have reviews and forums online where people air their opinions about brokers. Okay, the longer a broker, the better. It means they have able to stand the test of time, and also a broker must be regulated. Very important. Very important, regulated. Every broker, irrespective of the country they are in, must have a regulatory body for it. So that's important, the regulations for the broker. That's one. Then two, when you're looking at another part of the broker, you're looking at your funds. How secure is your funds? Because that's what people are always asking. Tomorrow, if FXCM goes down, what happens to our funds? Brokers have insurance. There's always posted on websites the insurance. Okay, what worth is this broker insured in case of anything happening to the company? That's also important. So security is also important.
Well, you do know that most of these trades, meeting the broker, sometimes even a potential fund manager, it's all done online.
Yes.
And you don't exactly see you don't see the accounts. It's all virtual. You don't even see your broker. You don't see your fund manager. It's all virtual. So you're talking about insurance, running background, the security checks on the broker. All of that is almost virtual. So if something goes wrong, I mean, I imagine a trader wants to have something physical to see or hold, or to be able to hold on to at the end of the day.
That's why for us here, we have a physical office here in Nigeria. That's one. Another thing is this. You must realize that these regulatory bodies are not just there for a reason. Just like for the US, we have the CFTC and the NFA. If you go to the website of these regulatory bodies, you will see the list of brokers registered under them with their number.
Okay.
Same thing with the various countries. FSA for FSA for UK, Financial Service Authority. So that's important. Just like me saying, okay, virtual is something you see. If I ask you on your bank statements, on your e-banking, is it real or not real?
Yeah, but the bank may just be around the corner from my house, and I can go there and give them a piece of my mind because I know where they are.
We're in a world now that everything is on an electronic market. So we have to take them for their words.
Okay, how often do you, like Forex Time, do you deal with brokers? How do you connect a broker with traders and all of that?
Okay, most of them, when they come to the office for complaint, we handle it from there. Another part is if they can't come to the office, depending on their location, there's an online chat where they can go in, and also there's a phone there they can make their calls.
Okay, now if I'm a scalper, which type of account would you recommend for me? I know scalpers, they just come in a couple of minutes, look at the market broadly, and then they're out.
Okay, so most scalpers will look at spread. They're always after, that's the first thing on their mind, spread. Okay, I like something that just purely the spread, not the one that will add a commission to it. So most scalpers would like to go for the daily index. But the other side of the daily index for scalpers is whenever they want to exit the market. That's another thing. But I always tell people this: if you have your strategies in place as a good trader, be it a scalper either on the non-daily index or the daily index, it shouldn't affect your trade.
Oh, interesting.
Because they also look at the commission fee too. Always looking at the commission fee, they want to look at the costs, the transaction cost on trading. So that's also another thing.
Okay, so how much, what other factors does one need to consider when choosing a broker? Is it just insurance, being registered with a regulatory body?
I talked about security. The next one is transaction cost. Okay, transaction in terms of, if I'm placing an order, what's the spread amongst brokers and the commission fee? Those are the other things you also check. Then you look at a good broker. As easy as you deposit should be the same thing while withdrawing. So for example, if I deposit $10,000, I've made my profit at the end of the month, and it's like, assume it's times 2 what I made. It should be easy for me to withdraw my money. There shouldn't be any hassle about that. So that's also something you look at. A good deposit and withdrawal system there for you, and different options for you too.
Does the trader need to directly, if I'm in doubt, if I'm a trader and I'm in doubt, can I go to the regulatory body where that particular broker is listed to check the
is there on the website?
Stated there?
No, you can't see it on the regulatory body. Everything is on the broker's site.
So if I want to be sure that what the broker is giving me a fair deal in terms of cost, transaction costs, can I go to the regulator to
You can't go.
Confirm
Everything is by the broker. That's why I said, due to the stiff competition with brokers, they mind their transaction costs very well. So you can do an option, should I say, you can run difference between the brokers and their transaction costs. It's always there. There are so many websites that gives you that. If I'm choosing Forex Time, what's their transaction cost for deposits and withdrawals? If I'm choosing if I'm choosing FXCM, so many brokers, what's their transactional cost? For us, for deposit, for us is no commission for deposit. If you're doing the normal banking deposit here in Naira, there's no commission. It's only when you're doing your withdrawal we have the transaction cost for withdrawal.
Okay, let's go back to the dealing desk and the non-dealing desk. What is the advantage of the non-dealing desk over the dealing desk? Which is preferable? Which in the last, by looking at the regular trend, which do traders usually opt for?
They always opt for the non-dealing desk.
Why is that?
Because of execution order. I click my buy, I want it taken straight away. I click my sell, I want it taken straight away. I hate being asked over and over again, do I want to buy at this price, do I want to sell at this price? Or when I want to exit my trade, maybe for example, I've had a take profit target and it seems as if the market is going to retrace. So I like to adjust my take profit target or leave the market now with my little profit. So I don't want a snag, I want it done immediately.
Well, in terms of risk levels, which is better or safer in terms of exposure to risk, the non-dealing desk or the dealing desk?
Dealing desk. Because
higher exposure to risk.
No, it has a lower exposure to risk because the stop out levels, stop out levels for both is different. For the non-dealing desk is 20%. Sorry, for the dealing desk is 20%, the non-dealing desk is 60%. So when in terms of risk, you're looking at the dealing desk has a lower stop out level than the non-dealing desk.
So who are those who actually use a non-dealing desk? If you're saying all these good things about the dealing desk,
we have so many traders who opt for the they know the risks involved in the non-dealing desk.
Why did they choose it over the dealing desk, knowing that the risk exposure is higher?
Execution order. That's always their issue because when you're talking about execution order, we are looking at internet too. your service provider matters very well. So usually we're looking at technology. Broadband is it, and we always have so many people having challenges with their internet network, so they usually opt for the non-Delidex. And also, a good broker should give you different options. When I'm talking about different options, I can't sit in front of my computer 24/7 to trade. I have my iPad, I can go around with it, I can trade with this, I can also trade on my phone, Android phones, and also trade with my BlackBerry. And also the beauty part about it is that, for example, if I log into my system and my MT4, that's my software platform, crashes, I can go to the web-based platform. Brokers have that now. I just log into OpenMeta, Mozilla, or Google Chrome, log into my trading account on that software, and I can see my trades, and I can close my trade from there.
Okay, now let's we're almost completely out of time. Let's move forward. For this week, it's a fresh quarter. What are your expectations? Let's restrict ourselves to this week. Currency pairs, which is on the forefront, which are you traders pinning their hopes on, as it were?
Always, as always, the first week of the month is always the non-farm payroll for the US. So everyone is pinning.
That's Friday, so
yeah, everyone is pinning their hope for Friday. Let's put it that way. And okay, we're just looking at the last quarter has gone. Euro had a upper hand over the dollar. Let's see what this quarter will look like.
So if the non-farm payrolls come out positive, if the job situation, that of course reflects the job situation in the US. If it comes out positive,
people will go for the dollar. Yes, and also we're having the economic reports coming out this week too. So we're all looking at everything to look at what the fresh quarter will start with for us on the currency markets.
Okay, well, hopefully it will be good.
Yeah, we're hoping to.
We're expecting you to come back. I have been talking to Esther Oyana. She's a currencies trader and analyst at Forex Time, and we have been looking at how you can choose a good broker to help you trade at the currencies market. Last week, the Central Bank of Nigeria embarked on an aggressive liquidity mop-up at the money market. It auctioned, or rather sold over 100 billion naira in treasury bills at the treasuries market. Of course, that impacted rates. We saw the cost of lending among banks at the interbank market closing higher for the week at around 15.3% on average. That's for the core money. Or the secured open buyback for the banks and discount houses also climbed to an average of 14.7% last week from 12% earlier in the week. And at the currencies arm of the market, we saw the naira ending the week firmer against the US dollar, closing at 157 naira 75 kobo to the dollar. Well, the dollar has remained the naira rather has remained relatively stable at the currencies market. The central bank has been providing dollar liquidity at its bi-weekly auction, which usually holds on Mondays and Wednesdays every week. Now, last week, the Apex Bank sold over $270 million at its Forex auction. Let's go over to the earnings board. Of course, it's still earnings season on Custom Street, and of course, it's been a mixed bag. Well, many companies have reported impressive earnings. Many of the companies quoted on the exchange, from banks to some industrial stocks, and many have also declared a final cash dividends, while some others are also giving out bonuses for investors. Let's take a look at some that came out last week, the tail end of last week. We got one from Ecobank Transnational Incorporated, ETI. Its audited report for the period ended 31st of December 2011. According to the bank, turnover came in at 1.5 billion naira. That's a 33.7% increase in revenue for the bank. Profit before tax also rose 64.1% to 277.4. We had a net profit coming also higher, over 56.9% to over $208 million. Now, dividend, the company is giving out 4 cents dividend to investors. That comes to around 6.20 kobo. The payment date is the 5th of June this year. May and Baker also released its full year earnings for the year ended December 31st, 2011. Turnover came in slightly higher, up 4.3% at 4.8 billion naira. Profit before tax also rose 10.3% to 339.4 million naira, while its net profit also went up 32.5% to 255.5 million naira. Well, no cash dividend and no bonus share to investors. Diamond Bank was also on that list. It released its full year earnings for last year. Turnover was slightly higher, up at 5.8% at 996.3 billion naira. However, profit before tax declined significantly, a loss of 16.2 billion naira, while it posted a net loss of 11.25 billion naira, down whopping 947.4%. Well, the bank said it did have to make some provisioning for some exceptional items, and of course some of its non-performing loans that it sold to the to AMCON, that's Asset Management Company of Nigeria, and of course no dividend and no share bonus to investors. Cadbury, from the food and beverages sector, also put out its earnings for last year. Turnover was up 16.9% at 34.1 billion naira. Profit before tax also rose significantly, up 160.3%. Profit before after tax also rose higher by 216.8%, coming to 3.7 billion naira. Well, we're still expecting more earnings to be put out on Custom Street, particularly from the banks. We have about 6 banks now that have put out their earnings, and about 4 of them are giving out cash dividends. Now, joining me now on the program, live from the trading floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, is David Andorin. He's a trader, and he's going to be giving us some early trading numbers. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Esther. It's a pleasure being with you this morning. The market is fully open, and the oil share index is slightly down, down by 0.16%. I'd like to briefly run through the various sectors of the market. The food and beverages subsector is down by 0.79%. Energy currency is down by 0.15%. Oil and gas is unchanged. Insurance is unchanged, while the banking sector is also down by 0.35%. But I'd like to inform you that we are having the results being released. Mobile Oil PLC has just released their fully audited results, and the company is proposing a dividend of 5 naira per share and also a bonus of 1 for 5. The result for UC Property has also been released, and the company is proposing a dividend of 65 kobo. So those are the early numbers we have in the market this morning.
Well, David, with this robust earnings, particularly from Mobile, shouldn't that put most of the numbers in the green, particularly the food and beverages, or even the banking index, or at least spread general positive sentiments across the market?
Well, the banking index is down, and one of the reasons is that GT Bank was marked down earlier on, and so that is still probably having a deleterious effect on the market. But essentially, I think it is the First Bank that is dragging down the sector right now. First Bank is losing 3 kobo right now, and is a high cap stock, and so it has a material effect on the sectoral index whenever it is down. But generally, several sectors of the market are down, and it's reflected on the oil share index itself, which is down by 0.18%.
Now, David, looking at the performance on the first quarter, the oil share index year to date came in at a negative of 0.09%. Now, with the rally we saw in the last couple of weeks, one would think that perhaps that would have tipped the oil share into positive territory, to end the quarter positive. Is it just this persistent profit taking that's affecting the broad index?
Well, the liquidity in the market may have played a role in making it difficult for the market to experience a rally at the end of the just ended quarter, because prior to the end of the week, DMO has sold some bonds, and so that resulted in macroeconomic liquidity squeeze, which adversely affected the equities market. And then some of the earnings were not very, very impressive, and a lot of investors have also been patiently awaiting the results of First Bank, and people are now apprehensive since it has not been released that perhaps it may not be to the expectations of investors. So a lot of sentiments are there, making it difficult for the market to enjoy any rally. But more results are being released, like we have a good one now from Mobile. Perhaps if we have good and impressive results with impressive payouts like we're seeing with Mobile now, yeah, the market can start the rally once more.
Okay, thank you so much, David. That's about all we can take from you right now. Thank you so much for your contribution. Really do appreciate it. David Andorik, stockbroker, calling live from the trading floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And according to him, many of the market indicators are currently in the red. All-share index is currently down about 0.18%. The food and beverages index has lost about 0.79%. The NSE 30 down 0.15%. Oil and gas insurance index flat, while the banking subsector is currently down about 0.5%. He said the First Bank is to blame for that. There's currently a sell pressure on First Bank. But good news for investors who are holding on to Mobile shares. The company has posted its full year 2011 earnings. And according to David, the company is proposing a final cash dividend of 5 naira per share and a bonus dividend of 1 for every 5 shares held by investors. Very good news for investors holding on to Mobile shares. Of course, like he said, we're expecting more earnings from some of the companies listed on the bourse, and perhaps that might tip the broad index back into positive territory. Well, on that note, we'll end today's edition of Business Morning. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Channels News Track is at the top of the hour. I'm Esther Budaga. Bye for now.